Hey guys, how are y'all doing today? My name is Nate, and today I'm going to talk a bit about some of the new weapon changes that came with the Gun Mettle update. Now, everything that I've experienced so far from this update has been fantastic. The new weapon skins, the unusual weapon effects, the new official maps, the taunts, just everything about this has been perfect. We were given brand new content that we had never seen before, as well as new items and changes that keep TF2 the awesome game that it is. I mean, I was super surprised at first when I hopped to the internet and just heard about this huge update that seemed to come out of nowhere. And, to be honest, I panicked when I saw the weapon skins on the first page. I started realizing that the style of the game is going to some extreme levels, but I wanted to stay optimistic about it all. Valve done a pretty good job of making these updates as awesome as possible, so I definitely had faith in them with this one as well. Plus, the new taunts and game mechanics sound really interesting, and heck, I might even like the skins once I get a hold of one. Now, it wasn't until the very end of the second page that I knew that this was going to be an awesome update. Holy smokes! New weapon changes! Wow, look at this! This is awesome! And so of course, once the update was released, I immediately started trying out all the new weapon changes. The new Liberty Launcher is awesome, the kunai is awesome, everything is awesome, and I'm seriously having the most fun I have had in a long time. Basically, I just want to talk about some of my favorite weapon changes that came from the Gun Mettle update, and why these weapons are actually viable in a lot of situations. We'll begin by talking about the Tomi Sloth. I love this weapon to death. Heavy has been a tiny bit neglected for some time now, but this weapon itself makes it all so much better. The Tomi Sloth used to have a 10% faster spin-up time and no barrel spin sound. This made it easier to sneak up on people and shoot them when they were still trying to react. Unfortunately, the 20% slower firing speed made it incredibly hard to kill anyone at all. If you don't even use the faster spin-up time or the silent spin sound as an advantage, the only thing that came from the weapon was a slower firing speed, which sucked. However, the new Tomi Sloth now has 20% more accuracy, as well as a 20% faster spin-up time. Now this new accuracy change was just what this weapon was missing. A 20% increase in accuracy means that you can deal lots of damage even if you're far away from your opponent. With the stock minigun, it's kind of harder to do damage from far away because of the bullet spread. But now Heavy actually has the option to choose more range over a faster firing speed. And really, this thing is like the anti-sniper minigun. When you're revved up and moving really slow, you're going to get headshot a lot. But with increased accuracy, it means you can pelt snipers from far away and throw off their aim. It is absolutely fantastic. I haven't taken this weapon off since the update came out. Next up is the Sydney Sleeper. Now this is strange because I usually try to avoid using this weapon due to the fact that it can't get headshots. But the Sydney Sleeper feels incredibly fun to use for some reason. It has a 25% increase in its charge rate, and it can cover enemy players in Girardi when you hit them with a body shot. Now with the old Sydney Sleeper, covering enemies in Girardi required you to charge up all the way before it would actually work, which is a pain considering other snipers could just headshot you while you're standing there charging. The new Sydney Sleeper now covers enemies in Girardi as long as you're scoped in, and the duration of it differs according to how long you charge. This means that no matter what, you're going to cover players in Girardi for at least 2 seconds, which is a decent amount of time. Now I love using the Sydney Sleeper because it's super teamwork oriented and aggressive. If your team is pushing up, you can simply get a quick body shot on the players in front of them, and they become really easy to take out. Instead of doing a lot of killing yourself, you're helping your teammates by making their jobs easier. But my favorite part about this weapon is the fact that you can get up right in the faces of other players. Why? Because of the Bushwaka! Bushwaka does crit damage on players covered in Girardi, and what makes players covered in Girardi? The Sydney Sleeper! It's like you have an endless supply of Girardi to just toss on players, except you do more damage and you still have an extra jar of piss handy in case you need to toss it on a group of people or just put out your teammates or something. And honestly, I probably just enjoy using this because I can't land a single headshot. Now if you like to play a lot of Spy, chances are you hardly ever use the Big Earner. It was an okay weapon, but the benefits of getting plus 30 cloak per kill didn't seem super rewarding. At the negative 25 health just made it harder to play in general. Since players already drop quite a bit of ammo, it makes it easy to get your cloak full anyways without the additional cloak from a kill. However, I think the new Big Earner is definitely a viable knife to use now. Instead of just getting more cloak from killing someone, you also get a quick speed boost that lasts for a good 3 seconds. This means that right after killing someone, you can quickly stab another player nearby, run away very quickly, or even pull off a really fast trick stab if you know how to do it. This gives Spy a million more new opportunities to try stuff he hasn't been able to before. Now I know that some Spy players were a little upset when the Dead Ringer got nerfed, but personally I see it as a great change. I feel like the new Dead Ringer encourages Spies to be stealthier, instead of just take a bunch of damage while you run blindly into a group of players. When the Dead Ringer goes off, it leaves behind a fake corpse, turns you invisible, and makes you resistant to damage for a short time while you run away with a quick speed boost. This new Dead Ringer makes it perfect to use alongside with the Big Earner, You become a speedy spy who is just getting boosts all over the place from cloaking and killing people. You can pretty much get away with anything because you're running around all over the place and getting out of bad situations quickly. Plus, I think the additional cloak from stabbing someone is more beneficial with the Deadringer than the Invis-Watch anyways. Next up is a brand new Scorch Shop. I never used this weapon too much before the update, but now I love to run with this thing all the time. Since I like to use Degreaser a lot, it makes sense that my secondary and melee weapon should have to do a lot more damage to make up for it. Unfortunately, the Scorch Shot didn't help much with that, and it didn't have too many benefits, other than it could light a group of people on fire, knock them around a bit, and do small jumps if you shoot at your feet, sort of like the detonator. The negative 50% damage penalty seemed to lag a bit much, but Valve was gracious enough to update it and make it more rewarding to use. The Scorch Shot now mini-crits burning players, it has a bigger explosion radius, and the damage penalty is only 35%. This gives a Scorch Shot a bit more purpose instead of just shooting it to light people on fire from a distance and, knock them off cliffs and stuff. It almost feels like a combination of the flare gun and the detonator mixed into one weapon. Unfortunately, they quickly changed the Scorch Shot so you don't jump as high as the detonator, and you take more damage from hurting yourself. It was fun for a day or two because you could go on a rampage and just bounce people around while you jump into crazy places and surprise anyone around the corner. But they changed it because it was like a better version of the detonator. Oh well. It's still fun to use without the crazy jump height. Last but not least, I wanted to talk about the Jag for the Engineer. This is always an interesting weapon with a good idea, but it never really works that great in actual games. It had a 30% faster construction time, and a negative 25% damage penalty, but the faster construction time didn't seem too noticeable when compared to the wrench. You could definitely build faster, but it wasn't all that significant. It was a perfectly fine weapon to use if you didn't mind the damage penalty, but it meant that killing spies with your wrench would take more than 2 hits, which can become a problem for a lot of people. Lo and behold, Valve updates this weapon too. This time the Jag has a 15% faster firing speed, with a downside of a slower repair rate. This weapon is seriously fantastic now. You can get a sentry up and running at level 3 incredibly fast. This is just how the Jag should have been in the first place, because it gets things built really quickly, at the small cost of repairing everything a bit slower. On top of all this, you can remove sappers in less than a second with the faster firing speed. You have plenty of time to save more than just 1 or 2 buildings from being destroyed. The Jag is also even more amazing if you use the Rescue Ranger alongside with it. Since repairing your sentry buildings will take longer with the wrench, you will rely a ton on the Rescue Ranger to get your sentry back to full health. It is the perfect combination that works amazing together. So that is going to be it for this video. There are plenty of other fantastic weapon changes that I could just talk about forever, but I don't want to make an hour-long video. Anyways, I am in love with this update, and I'm super eager to see what else will come out in the near future. Thank you all for watching, and I hope to see you all next time.